Hey, how are you doing today? Welcome back to NINNE-JGS Studios. We're in studio number 4. This is episode 4253. We're going to talk today real quick about independent front suspension systems and airbagging. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this style of airbag, this particular one is about 20 years old. It still functions fully well. It's a very good piece of equipment. The interesting thing about installing this particular one on a 1970 Camaro front suspension was the fact that somehow, some way, after following all the instructions and everything, I discovered years later that it had bent the upper control arm pieces back away from the frame, and then caused the frame to crack in a couple of spots. So I literally had to rip the whole thing apart and patch the cracks, reinforce the welds up at the tops, and then you can barely see it. Let me get my flashlight over there. You can see a very sloppy fish plate went over the top of it. So all you welders out there that are trying to critique my work, I apologize for. But then once that was done, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do something different. So I went to the airbags. Simple cup on top, metal plate down at the bottom, standard airbags that go to the Camaro. Once that got to that point, I finally got around to deciding, hey, let's put some shocks on it. Can't find any information, not even from the vendor, as to how to put shocks on. You see some pictures here and there and so on and so forth. But figuring out whether or not it goes in the back behind or up in the front, and then you sit there on one side and you're staring at it and go, hey, that'll work, and you go to the other side and go, no, that won't work. So you have to do a lot of engineering. Perhaps that's why the vendors don't sell ready-made kits. They'll sell you the brackets if you want them, upper and lower brackets. They'll show you a shock, but they really don't talk too much about how to get the geometry right and figuring all that part out. Secondly, if you have your backspace pushed in quite a bit because of the vehicle you're running on, you start to run into problems with your turn radius. On this particular vehicle, I lost some of my turn radius capabilities because once I stuck the tire on it and turned the wheel, it would hit right here on the shock. And so I had to come up with some other means to offset and reduce the turn radius so that it wouldn't hit the shock. Then once that was done, it was a matter of figuring out how to put the ride level sensor in, which is, again, some pictures but no detailed set of instructions for your particular independent front suspension. This one's getting tied into the anti-sway bar, and I'll show you that on the other side. You can see maybe you can see the lower bracket down there. And I'll finish those up in a few minutes. Excuse the walk around. Yes, this is old school 70 Camaro suspension on an old pickup truck. So as you can see, there's your ride level sensor hooked into this sway bar and the sloppy. All right, I thought I did a good job. Heck with it. I don't think it's sloppy, it's art. Anyways, so I'll show you the back side real quick and the reason why. Get some light back here, sorry. We'll fire the cameraman later. And you can probably try to see where there's not much room back here when it comes to how much space is left. Now, without those blocks and that piece of steel up there to create a new bump stop, it would have turned a lot further and gouged into the tire. And I'd rather lose turning radius, but you can see where I can't backspace it any further to get the tire to go up underneath the wheel well as it is. As you see, it's pretty close, and you've probably seen some of the other photos where it's sitting on the ground. So yes, it will sit on the ground. Waiting to see what happens when this one gets put back down, because the shock may limit how far it goes down from now on. But I'll take a look at that later on. So we'll catch up on what's happening with this particular vehicle, and we'll get it back on the road and take it to a show. See you out there. Keep wrenching.